For further analysis, we're joined from Chicago by the director of the Quorum Center for Strategic Studies, Mr. Tariq Al-Rifai. Mr. Rifai, welcome to the Qnews Economic Bulletin. So how could the U.S. decision to double tariffs from 25% to 50% on steel and aluminum imports affect the global trade relations?
As you know, it's already affecting global trade. When I talk to manufacturers here locally in the United States, number one, they're holding off expansion plans until they have more clarity on what the tariffs mean for them. So, of course, this is hindering growth. And at the same time, they're seeing their supply of raw material, and as it was mentioned in your segment, some of it is imported as well. So they're seeing rising tariffs on that end as well. So all in all, I think a lot of the manufacturing sector here, especially the ones that rely on steel, are very skeptical and very wary and nervous about what's happening right now.
Well, other than hindering growth, what other risks does it pose to the broader international economic system?
Well, similar to what we saw during the COVID time when we saw the obstruction of the supply chain. And this is a similar scenario, but of course, we're talking specific industries right now, steel and aluminum manufacturing. And disruption in supply would also affect, supply and demand dynamics, which if there is, oversupply or undersupply, again, we're going to see volatility in the price, which is not good for manufacturers who like to have stability in price. So that's another problem.
Mm-hmm. Well, this move will probably hurt American industries that rely on these metals like car makers or construction or shipbuilding. So how will these industries work their way out of it?
Well, their way out of it is trying to hedge their sources of supply. When I talk to some of the manufacturers here that rely on steel and steel imports from China and other countries, they're looking for other sources of material. They're looking at sources from Canada, from Mexico, and even other Asian countries. But as the supply, there are some supply constraints right now, which also hinder this. So the best bet for manufacturers is number one, as I said, they're holding off on any expansion plans until there's clarity on where this tariff war is going. Number two is they're trying to have multiple sources in multiple countries where they source the materials from.
Mm-hmm. Mr. Rifai, could these higher tariffs scare away investors from U.S. manufacturing, or do you think that they will actually wait it out and see how it plays out?
I don't think it'll scare them away. I think it's more of a wait and hold right now until there is clarity. But of course, as U.S. is a huge market and very attractive for investment in it. And of course, this is one of President Trump's ultimate objectives is to increase manufacturing within the United States. However, for the meantime, I think right now it's more of a wait and hold policy.
Mm-hmm. What about Britain? What could happen to the British exports if they don't meet the July deadline? And do you think they will meet it?
Well, as we're hearing about the doubling of tariffs, but I think right now the UK is exempt from this, pending the outcome of the agreement on further trade policy with the United States. And if you look at the markets, the way they're reacting, I mean, it's reacting positively, which means investors are very optimistic in that a solution or agreement will be reached. So at this point, I would say there is a good chance that an agreement will be reached for the UK.
Mm-hmm. Let's move to Germany. How significant is this 46 billion euro tax relief package for Germany's struggling economy?
I would say it's about time. It's long overdue. If you know the German economy, you know that it's heavily reliant on manufacturing exports. And its manufacturing sector, if you measure it according to the PMI manufacturing index, has been in contraction for 3 years. I mean, this is terrible for German manufacturers. So this is long overdue. I mean, even if you look at the services sector, which for most countries, when you see the weakness in the manufacturing sector, you still see solid growth in the services sector. However, for Germany from the beginning of this year, even the services sector has been contracting. So I think the government is making the right decision. I do think it's long overdue. So this is overall positive, and you can see the performance of the DAX today.
Mm-hmm. Well, it might be the right decision, but what challenges might Germany face in implementing this package, especially given its strict fiscal rules, the recent budget debates, 3 years of contraction?
Yes, I mean, obviously, from a government perspective, it's going to put pressure on the deficits even further because, any kind of tax cuts means that the government will try to fill the budget gap through increased borrowing, which of course creates another problem, but this is on the government side. Overall, the hope is that this stimulus will actually increase and return the key sectors to growth, which will offset some of the projected declines in the short term.
Looking at it in a macro way, how could this tax plan affect Germany's role in the broader EU economy? Might it trigger similar policies in other European Union countries?
I would expect that it would trigger, just because the German economy is the dominant economy within the eurozone, and any kind of stimulus or any kind of support that the German government gives to its local economy, there will be pressure on other countries to maintain their competitiveness and attractiveness. So I would see that we would expect to see more stimulus from other countries.
Mm-hmm. From Chicago, that was the director of the Quorum Center for Strategic Studies, Mr. Tariq Al-Rifai. Thank you very much, sir, for your insights.